So I have 28 books on this tentative TBR for February. No matter what, to pass this challenge or feel good about this challenge, I have to read 28 books. These books might change depending on how much time I have, depending on audiobooks that might come up during this month, and things of that nature. However, we're going to call it a win if I get 28 books in February. So that is my challenge. I'm going to quickly go through the books that I am feeling right now. So, this first stack are books that I have to read either because they're arcs or because they're already on my TBR. So there's Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wynn. This is a historical fiction that takes place during World War II about a spy. This is honestly just for a secret TBR that I'm doing. They Went Left by Monica Heazy. This is yet another historical fiction about World War II. This follows Abex and Zofia, who are the only two people in their family that went right. A couple years prior, during the Holocaust, their entire family went left and into the gas chambers, and this is the aftermath of all that, so that one's going to be very hard-hitting. Again, it's for a secret TBR. Do You Follow by J.C. Biden is a thriller. It is an arc that came out in January that I didn't get to, but it's also very short. It's like 220 pages. So let's see. Okay, 219 pages, so I feel like I should be able to get through that pretty quickly. And then on my TBR, from my TBR game, I got Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. Then Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Deo. This is yet another book for a secret TBR. This is fantasy. I think it's a dark retelling of Snow White, or the Wicked Witch from Snow White. The Evil Queen legend from Snow White. So that sounds cool. The next stack are just books that I feel like I could get through pretty quickly. These three are like short stories, and I feel like I can read, if I read 2 short stories from the first 2, then I will be done. 2 short stories a day in the first 2, I will be done with this one in 20 days and this one in 15 days. And then this is a short story collection. I believe there are 13 books in, or 13 stories in here, so 1 a day for 13 days, which is very doable. Plus whatever book I'm reading for that day, I feel like it would help me spread out my reading a little, and I think I can do it. So, Teen Trailblazers, 30 Fearless Girls Who Changed the World Before They Were 20 by Jennifer Calvert. But it has like a profile, so one page is their picture, then information on them, and then more information, but it's spread out and it's pretty big handwriting. So as long as I read 2 profiles a day, I'll be done in 2 weeks. Then Unsolved Deaths, I believe this is going to take me 23 days by reading 2 a day for 23 days. If I get more done in a day or something, then that's cool too. It's literally exactly what it sounds like, Unsolved Death. Then this one is Because You Love to Hate Me, 13 Tales of Villainy, edited by Amari. The 13 authors teamed up with 13 booktubers to make these villain backstories a few years back, and I have always wanted to read this, so why not do it during a challenge? Then these next 4 I currently have on hold at my library for audiobooks, so I'm thinking that I will read these. There's Splittered by A.G. Howard. This is a Alice in Wonderland retelling, along with A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. These are both Alice in Wonderland retellings. They're both dark, and I'm excited for them. Then we have I Have Lost My Way by Gail Forman for ages 13 and up. Honestly, I have an audiobook for it. I have no idea what this book is about. And then another audiobook that I have is Stiff, The Curious Lives of Human Cadavers by Mary Roach. So this will hopefully be getting read. I'm so sorry if you hear him slurping. The first section has 3 books, and these are poetry collections that I haven't read yet. Generally speaking, when I get poetry, I read it right away. It's like probably my favorite, although I don't read enough of it, in my opinion. But I read The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Carr a couple years ago, and I enjoyed it. I stayed up all night one night to finish it. I mean, it only took me like an hour to finish it, but I was tired and I'm like, I'm going to sleep, and then I started reading and I had to stay up and finish it. So I have 2 more Rupi Carr poetry collection books. There's Milk and Honey by Rupi Carr, which I think this is her first poetry collection. In the comments below, correct me if I'm wrong. Also, Homebody by Rupi Carr is the newest Rupi Carr. Okay, and then the other poetry collection that I have, I think it's a story told in verse, but it's okay. It is Shout by Lori Howes Anderson, the true story of a survivor who refused to be silent. So I believe that this is a nonfiction about rape that happened and becoming a survivor through that, and this poetry tells the story of that, so it's going to be very hard-hitting. Okay, let me first start off by saying I think that these are all middle grade except for this one, but this one's very short at like 210 pages, less than 210 pages, plus one of my booktube besties sent this to me. She said, "This one pulled me in with the cover. Hope you enjoy it, from Heather from Bell's Library." I will link her channel down below. But she so kindly gifted this to me. And since it's so short, I feel like it would work really well for this challenge on my channel. So Heather got me Vacancy by Carr Alexander. I read The Collector by this author, and I believe The Collector was a middle grade horror. It was okay. So this is like haunted hotel vibes. I think I put this on my wish list, and after reading The Collector, so it says once you check in, you can never check out. So it's going to be like a spooky middle grade or young adult. I'm not entirely sure. I have Feather by Jacqueline Woodson. So I love Jacqueline Woodson. Her books are amazing, the ones that I've read. This is only 100 pages, so it should be a really quick read. I don't think I've ever read any books by her that were not written in verse, but this one is written like a novel. This is like about a girl who is doing a report on Emily Dickinson, and I love Emily Dickinson, so I just thought it would be a really cute book. So, Garlic Bread for Eugene by Michael Heath. Michael Heath is the same author of Rescue, which I read in one night. I tabbed the heck out of this book, and I love this book so much. It is so dear to my heart. Well, I have been emailing Michael Heath since receiving this book, and we've talked, and I told him, hey, if he has any other backlist titles or any new titles coming out, that I would love to read them. So he sent me the first in his middle grade series, which is Garlic Bread for Eugene. And I need to read it so that I can leave a really good review. And also, it's very short, so it'll help me with this challenge. I think it's like 200 pages. Let's see. It might even be less than that. 110 pages, so that'll be really easy. It's about this boy who, Henry, yes. So Henry is about to get the perfect attendance award in middle school, but then something happens to his dad, and now it's kind of his place to step up and be the man. And Henry, his little brother, needs help, so he has to choose between getting the best attendance award at school the next day or helping his brother. So I think it's going to be a really cute adventure of him helping his brother, so I'm extremely excited to get to this one. Rules by Cynthia Lord. I believe this follows a brother and a sister. Yeah, okay, so the sister is Catherine. She's 12 years old, and her little brother is autistic, and or he has autism. Her baby brother has autism, and it's just kind of her life with her little brother. And that's something very close to my heart that I really want to read more about. From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by Koensberg. Carl Koensberg? I don't know if that's right. Let's see. Oh, E.L. Koensberg. I honestly got this because Michael recommended it when we were Goodwill shopping. She's like, you've never read it? But apparently it's about these kids that stay at this museum after their whole field trip goes home. They stay behind, and then I think they try to live at the museum, or the museum comes alive. So maybe it's like Night at the Museum before Night at the Museum was a thing, and better, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. Then we have The Pet War by Ellen Woodrow. Honestly, it just gave me cat and dogs vibes. There's this movie from the 90s called Cats and Dogs, or Cats versus Dogs. I think it's Cats and Dogs, and it's like this pet war between the cats and the dogs, and there were like 3 movies, and when I was a kid, I loved those movies. I think I tried to watch one of them recently within the last couple of years, and it just wasn't happening, but as a kid I loved it, so I kind of just wanted some of that nostalgia. Then there's The Thing About Jellyfish by Allie Benjamin. Honestly, this has been a book that I've wanted to read for years. This was one of the choices to read in my children's lit class 3 years ago. 2.5 years ago, close to 3 years ago. Oh no, it was 3 years ago. It was. This was one of the choices, and it was one that I really, really wanted to read, but I never got the chance to check it out from the program we were in. So now I have no idea what this book is about. but I know that I was excited for it. Let's see. Sometimes when we feel most alone, the world can open up in mysterious ways. Susie has always known things that other kids don't. She can explain the sleep patterns of ants. She knows there are 150 million jellyfish things on the planet every year. She knows that the average middle school kid contains about 20 billion of Shakespeare's atoms, but she can't understand how Franny Jackson's lifetime can be cut so short. Before Susie could make up for the worst thing she'd ever done to her best friend, when Susie formulates a bold plan to travel across the globe alone to learn the truth about how her best friend died, she discovers that the answers she most needs could be right in her own backyard. That sounds really sad. That sounds very sad. Okay, so that is officially 28 books, and you would think that this video would be over right here because 28 days in February means 28 books if I read a book a day. However, I'm planning on doing a buddy read with Heather from Bell's Library. So this book choice is dependent on if Heather gets a copy of the book in February or later. At some point, we are going to read this together. It's going to be a buddy read. It's happening. I just don't know if it's going to be in February, March, or April. I'm completely open to whatever works. But if she gets it, then the deal is that we are going to read it in that month, probably on one of my weekends. So this book is only 188 pages, so it would be perfect to read during this challenge. And that is A House at the Bottom of a Lake by Josh Mallorman. This is a novella. He wrote Bird Box, which I liked. I don't think I would like it as much. I think if I'm not going to reread it, I think I would rewatch it before I would reread it. But this is about these teenagers that are on their first date in this canoe up here. And when they're rowing on the lake, they find a house. And, of course, they have to go explore it because, wouldn't you? No, I wouldn't. I've seen enough horror movies and read enough horror novels. Actually, I probably would be that dumb one that would be like, yes, let's go explore. And then if my husband wasn't with me, because my husband is a very big party pooper, so if my husband wasn't there, then I'd go explore. But if my husband was there, then he'd be like the party pooper. He'd be the logical one. And he'd be like, no, don't do that. That's dangerous. You don't know, logical. I say party pooper, he says logical. Anyways, this is the last option. So technically you have 29 books right there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Comment down below if you think that I can do this. Actually, let me know either way. I like negative comments because sometimes that inspires me and motivates me more to finish challenges. But please don't be too mean. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget, I will see you later. Oh my gosh. And remember that this tentative TBR could change. Like, if I'm not feeling a book or I just get an audiobook that, could help me with a different book. As long as I get 28 books in February. So tomorrow I get to rest up. Well, I work tomorrow, but I get to rest up as far as reading goes. And then hot and heavy on Tuesday. Just February 1st. Okay, so I accidentally forgot my last stack, which are graphic novels. I'm going to quickly go through them here at the end. So there's Clash, An Act by Kayla Miller. They're part of the same series. No idea if it matters what order I read them in. Then there's Bubble. There's Bad Sister. Adventure Time, Sugary Shorts, and Steven Universe Volume 1. Okay, now that's seriously all 28 of the books that I'm tentatively planning. If any of them change, I don't want to hear it. But the ones that are required for my game obviously have to be read. Knock on wood.